There have been several cases put before the courts recently, and many of them have been adjourned until a later date, and the culprits, or accused, are still either walking the streets even though they are convicted of a crime, or in jail even though no sentence has been given to them. Like the culprits involved in the Jay's robbery trial that took place on July 10th, Franklin Santoman, Roxanne Lockhart, Lorenzo Caesar, and Jerron Rigby. They have stood before the court in two separate hearings, but have yet to be sentenced for the crime they committed. Santoman has since stood before the courts for a separate charge filed against him in July for possession of an unlicensed firearm and possession of ammunition. This case was also adjourned until a later date, and Santoman was placed on $6,000 bail and was released. Santoman was seen in court again this month, this time for a separate charge for occasion actual bodily harm and malicious damage to property. That too was adjourned. Santoman is now awaiting 3 pending trials of major offenses. Nikita Skippings, who was involved in a major offense early last year where he passed 933 grams of marijuana to an innocent traveling civilian, John Thomas. He appealed this matter and lost the appeal, but his 15-month sentence was suspended for 2 years with no clear reason as to why this decision was made. Also, the Letitia Stanford case has yet to be settled since December 1st, 2008, after the lifeless body of Letitia was found in her Blue Hills home. It was her husband, Alvin Stanford, who just days later was charged for her murder. Stanford is still awaiting trial 2 years later for those charges. That matter was adjourned this month until a later date. There is a clear increase in crime causing increase in trials in the country, and day by day, many, if not all the trials, are being adjourned, some without reasoning. This matter was brought up in last month's Chamber of Commerce meeting when one angry local expressed her feelings about the issue with the judicial system and the length of trials put before the courts, and the governor shared his views as well.
More support also coming from the judicial aspect of things, because some of these people who are committing these offenses are still walking the streets among us on bail or suspended sentences. You know, so and come back up and start again.
No, I'm aware of that. Of course, you know that sort of gets us into into issues of the courts and their independence and so on. But I mean, there are a number of points which deal with with the role on the one hand of the police, of the prosecuting services, and of the judiciary, and we'll see what we can do in terms of looking at things like sentencing guidelines and so on. But we also have to operate within an environment where constitutional rights and so on are also protected.
It almost defeats the purpose that if the police are going to be able to combat crime, and once it reaches before the courts, it's right back where we started from.
But still, there has been no change as new trials commence every day and old ones are postponed until a later date, time and time again. For WIV4 News, I'm Amanda Miller.